David De Angelis presents Metaphysics, New Dimensions of the Mind by Anthony Norval. Digitally narrated using the voice of Edward Herman. 26 reasons why this book can change your entire life. For the first time in my 25 years of lecturing and teaching at world-famous Carnegie Hall in New York City, I am presenting the accumulation of my studies of ancient secrets from India, China, Tibet, and the philosophers of the Golden Age of Greece, in one simple, practical, and easy-to-understand book which can help you change your life for the better. How to use your metaphysical miracle power will do the following things for you. 1. You will be able to perform miracles in your own life, just as the master metaphysician Jesus, the Buddha, Confucius, and other great philosophers and teachers have in the past. There are many different forms of miracles, from healing the sick body to the healing of mental and emotional disturbances, healing of social sickness, healing of financial ailments, and the healing of unhappiness, discontent, and fear and worry. 2. You will learn how to release your mind from the limitations of matter and soar into the inspiring and lofty realm of the spiritual dimensions of life. Here it is that all the great souls of history have received their divine inspiration and intuitive guidance for achieving their high goals. 3. You will discover for the first time that there is a miracle-working power within you, which you tap for every purpose in life. This miracle worker, which guided such geniuses as Columbus, Newton, Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Lincoln, Edison, Pasteur, and Burbank, is ready to do your bidding when you once learn how to tap this astounding power. You will change the course of your own destiny, just as these geniuses changed the course of history for all mankind, when you once get on the spiritual wavelength of greatness, which this book charts. 4. You will be guided step by step to the unfoldment of your own higher spiritual and mental gifts. You will become an extraordinary person when you once learn the method for unfolding the three minds that are encompassed by your own consciousness. Most people live one-dimensional lives, and they never know the pure joy of an expanded cosmic consciousness that comes to those who discover the 4 dimensions of life, which this book explores. 5. You will learn how to tap the secret hidden treasure troves of the invisible universe, which can bring you illimitable wealth and success. What great metaphysical secrets did such men as Rockefeller, Morgan Baruch, Vanderbilt, and Astor possess? Why could these men accumulate hundreds of millions of dollars? This book will reveal how you may tap a power that is behind all material riches. The metaphysical Aladdin's lamp of riches will be placed in your hands. How you use this tremendous power is up to you. 6. You will be shown how the great mystics and masters of the Far East were able to literally command the secret forces of life and cause them to bend to their will. Do you want to control other people for good? Do you long to have power over the erratic forces of nature? Do you want to project a sense of mastery and magnetism over those you meet? This dynamic principle of universal command and control is given fully in this book. It is the first time it has ever been given in printed form to the general public. 7. This book reveals God's secret of creation. It shows how you may use the same divine principle of creativity that will cause you to create in the image and likeness of that which you hold in your consciousness. You can energize the creative idea that you hold in your mind and produce its exact counterpart in the outer, objective world. 8. You will be shown the metaphysical brain projector principle, which reveals how you can project your innermost dreams and aspirations and see them become clothed in the garments of reality. You can become a creative giant through this principle alone. 9. Do you want to change your personality for the better? Improve your appearance. Add strength, youth, and vitality to your body. This book reveals a metaphysical principle from Tibet and China, known as the moon blending and sun blending exercises. People have used this principle alone to perform seeming miracles of transformation in their lives. 10. Learn about the miroscope of your mind, how it can act as a giant electronic telescope or microscope and give you an expanded consciousness which encompasses the entire universe. Just as man has expanded his horizons in his attempts to conquer space, so too, when you harness this tremendous metaphysical concept of the miroscope, you can enlarge the horizons of your life and include universal vistas that bring you greater joy, success, and fulfillment. 11. Do you resent the 8 hours a night that are spent in sleep? Learn through this book how you can harness those extra 8 hours a night and take fantastic astral journeys into the dimensions of the past, present, or future, and explore hidden secrets of other planets, other ages, other races and cultures with your astral body or higher mind. What man calls dreams can now be controlled and directed into fertile fields of metaphysical inquiry that yield rich and rewarding results. Improve the memory, learn foreign languages, discover new worlds through this dream projection method. 12. Learn how to perform the daily miracles of solving problems, living in harmony with others, and attracting to yourself the friends and loved ones that you desire. 13. Learn how you may enter the mystical land of Shangri-La, where you can achieve a state of spiritual exaltation, which makes you impervious to external pain and discomfort. What great power do the mystics of India possess that can cause them to lie on a bed of nails or walk on red-hot coals and feel no pain? 14. Learn John D. Rockefeller Sri's crammed, jammed pocket full of money theory, which has its entire basis in metaphysics. You need never be in want again the rest of your life if you once master this tremendous secret. 15. Discover the art of premonstration and demonstration, which can make you externalize conditions and things that you hold within the spiritual center of your being. Instantaneous miracles are possible for those who learn this great power. 16. Unlock your own higher psychic and prophetic gifts and learn the art of precognition or foretelling the future. How does the bee know how to build its six-sided honeycomb? What inner intelligence tells the caterpillar how to weave its cocoon and become a butterfly? This divine intuition is within your mind. Discover how to use this great power. 17. Find out how you may use the miracle healing power of divine mind through the spiritual forces of faith and prayer. The same technique that the master metaphysician Jesus used for his amazing miracles of healing is known today and may be used by those who know how to invoke the power of divine mind. 18. Learn how you may magnetize and attract to yourself money, jobs, material things, people, and conditions that you wish to have in your life. The dynamic law of mental and spiritual magnetism works miracles in the lives of those who know how to use it. 19. Learn how to plant spiritual seed money and reap a harvest of abundance and plenty. The tithing principle that is revealed by the mystics of the Far East works wonders for those who are trying to demonstrate more money and greater success in their lives. 20. Discover and utilize the 10 dynamic mental and spiritual laws that can work modern miracles for you. These dynamic laws are based on ancient knowledge that goes back to the time of the great pharaohs in Egypt. The art of transmutation, the secret power of transfiguration, the miracle of utilization. All these dynamic forces can help you perform modern miracles. 21. The illimitable realm of the cosmos is explored in this book, which shows you how you may attune your mind and soul to the greatest geniuses of the ages. You may duplicate their astounding mental and physical feats and find yourself in possession of cosmic power that will astound you. Michelangelo, Marco Polo, Columbus, Edison, Plato, Socrates, and Burbank. All the great geniuses of history had cosmic consciousness. Learn how to tune in on illimitable mental and spiritual power. 22. You will be shown how to channelize the greatest power in the universe through the 6 basic emotions that you possess. Through these emotions, you will learn how to create inspiration, dynamic energy, and creative gifts and talents that will truly delight and amaze you. The greatest things in the world were created by man through the spiritual fire released by the great emotion of love. Learn how to harness this dynamic power. 23. Study and apply the mastermind principles that were used by all the great mystics, prophets, and teachers. When these mastermind principles are fully understood, one can become a master of life and perform miracles of healing, demonstrations, and achievements that are not possible for ordinary mortals. 24. Learn and perform the 15 ways that you can use the metaphysical miracle power of your higher mind to bring you wealth and success. One decision made a million for one man. You can duplicate these principles in your life. 25. Study the 10 golden keys that can help you unlock the doors to life's most profound mysteries. Learn how nature lavishes her abundance on those who are in tune with her dynamic mental and spiritual laws. There are billions of dollars of resources open to all human beings who are aware of this secret. 26. Create the miracle of vital good health and long life by tapping the dynamic solar and atomic energy of the universe. Some people in the Himalayas are said to be 200 years of age. What are the secrets of their long life and vitality? Tap the power of your higher mind, which can reveal these priceless secrets of long life, energy, and rejuvenation through dynamic, vitally breathing, right diet, and spiritual exercises. I dedicate this book to my thousands of lecture members and students throughout America, who have been a constant source of inspiration and encouragement in my 30 years of public work. Introduction. Throughout history, there have been great and illumined souls who have been able to use the power of their higher minds to perform seeming miracles. These men and women used a cosmic force which is in the universe and which anyone may use when he once learns how to focus this higher power within his own mind. There are stupendous miracles such as healing the sick, causing the blind to see, making the crippled walk. But these are not the only miracles with which we are concerned in this metaphysical study. There are the little everyday miracles which you may begin to perform immediately that relate to your health, to your work, to increasing your income, to finding happiness in love and marriage, and to healing your mind of confusion, discord, and unhappiness, so that you may find inner peace and security. You will learn in this study that you too may become a miracle worker, that you may wave the mental wand of faith and create out of the substance of your thoughts and inner dreams the concrete things that you desire in your life. You may tap the power of this higher cosmic mind and create magnificent works, even as did the geniuses of the past who used this miracle-working power. Beethoven used this higher mind within to create beautiful music, even though he was deaf. Edison tapped this power of the higher cosmic mind within and created over 300 inventions, from the motion picture camera to the electric light bulb, which bless our lives today. Edison used the power which we shall study together, and there is no reason why you may not achieve greatness through this self-same metaphysical power. Lincoln was a miracle worker, and although a martyr, like Gandhi and John F. Kennedy, he brought the miracle of unity and greatness to a strife-ridden nation. J.P. Morgan was a financier and industrialist, but he used the metaphysical miracle power which we shall study together to build one of the great financial empires of all time. This miracle power is not dead today. It is still being used by men like Paul G. Getty and Howard Hughes, Ford and Rockefeller, to create wealth that not only benefits the ones who create it, but also blesses the world through the public libraries they endow, the research foundations they create, and the artistic gifts and treasures which they give to our great art galleries and museums. The miracles of Lourdes are well known, and I have stood in the sacred grotto, and I have seen the discarded crutches, wheelchairs, and braces that the sick have left there when their miracles of healing came. and they walked away healed by a miracle power that worked for them, but which does not seem to work for others. The spectacular miracles that the master metaphysician Jesus performed, and which we see at places like Lourdes, are not the only evidences that this metaphysical miracle power exists and may be tapped by ordinary mortals. There are other evidences in our own age that this power is alive today and may be used to heal millions of still unborn persons and to save the lives of hundreds of millions today. Salk used this higher miracle power to develop his vaccine for polio. Fleming developed penicillin through this higher intuitive mind. Madame M. Curie discovered radium by listening to the inner cosmic voice that guided them. And Pasteur certainly was a miracle worker unequaled in history for the perception that caused him to perfect the use of vaccines in the treatment and prevention of disease. The miracles that Buddha and Jesus performed through the use of metaphysics were indeed formidable. They seemed to set aside the natural laws of the universe and to bring into mental focus some higher dynamic spiritual law that worked miracles. However, this power did not end with them. This miracle-working power is still alive today and may be tapped by any person who will spend a few hours studying the principles and spiritual laws set forth in this book. The Age of Modern Miracles. Today, as never before, we live in an age of modern miracles. Jesus walked on the surface of the sea, but modern man not only skims over the surface of the sea, but is able to swim hundreds of feet below the water in his modern atomic submarines and sail around the world without resurfacing. Through the miracle of the ether waves, man is able to project his voice and sights and sounds thousands of miles through time and space. The miracles of radio, television, Cinerama, and Telestar prove that man lives in the midst of a vast cosmic sea of intelligence, which will respond to his own dynamic thought currents and bring him amazing miracles of sights and sounds which would have been impossible 100 years ago. The modern electronic telescope is a 20th century miracle which reveals the invisible world that exists in another dimension of time and space. Through the miracle of extrasensory perception, man may discover another dimension of mental and spiritual power in which he may unlock mystical doors to secrets of the past and future. The higher cosmic mind within you is more powerful than the electronic telescope. It was that higher mind which invented this electronic marvel. What of the miracles of modern automobiles, trains, jet planes, atomic power, superspeed highways, modern chemical and industrial inventions that gave us new products like plastics and nylon, and 1,000 other substances which give us luxuries and comforts in this miracle age that no other age in history has ever been blessed with? Truly, we live in an age of miracles. Now let us study together how you also may tap this miracle-working power of metaphysics and channel it in your own mind so you too may become a miracle worker and create for yourself and your loved ones the destiny that you desire. Chapter 1. The Metaphysical Miracle Power Within You. There is a miracle-working power in the universe which man may tap and use for every purpose in his life. This power flows throughout all creation. It creates and sustains all living things. It is a cosmic intelligence which works under certain dynamic mental and spiritual laws. When you once learn how to recognize this power and channel it through your own higher mind, you can literally become a miracle worker. Some people call this higher power God. Others name it cosmic mind or divine mind. By whatever name you choose to call this metaphysical power, the fact still remains that man can never really comprehend this stupendous creative intelligence, but he can use it to perform everyday miracles of health, abundance, love, fulfillment, happiness, and peace of mind. The miracle within an egg. When I was 10 years of age, I went to church with my foster parents and heard the minister preach a sermon about miracles. I did not fully understand the things he talked about. When we got home, my foster father took me by the hand to an incubator in which some eggs were about to hatch. As we looked through the glass door of the incubator, I saw the first tiny beak begin to break through the shell of the egg. My father said, "That, my boy, is a miracle, what the preacher was talking about this morning." I looked up at him in puzzled wonderment and said, "The miracle to me is how that chicken got in there in the first place." Truly, the mystery of life itself is a miracle which no man may comprehend. A full-grown chick coming out of that imprisoning shell in 21 days is one of life's most profound miracles. And yet we know that this occurs as routinely in nature as the sun rises and sets, or the moon gravitates around the earth, and the earth around the sun, under its own magnetic and gravitational laws. By utilizing this known law of the universe, man is able to fly his jet planes and his spaceships, and soon may be exploring the moon and other planets in outer space. Yes, we live in an age of miracles, and the greatest miracle of all is your own mysterious birth, the creation of your own perfect body in 9 short months' time. Think of the miracle of your eyes, which can relay vibrations of color and form to your brain, and correctly interpret what you see in the outer world. Think of the miracle of your memory, which can store billions of impressions in your lifetime, and recall any of them instantly from the filing cabinet of your brain. Think of the miracle of your acoustically perfect ear, which can hear the thousands and millions of notes in a symphony and accurately separate the instruments from which they issue. Think of the miracle of your heart, which pumps the blood through your body every few moments perfectly, and which continues to beat even when you are asleep. You will readily see that some higher intelligence within you automatically performs all these vital functions without even your conscious volition or concern. This shows that metaphysical power is within you, subject to your control and direction. You are immersed in a vast sea of etheric intelligence, very much like a fish in water. Like the fish, you are not consciously aware of the substance in which you move and have your being. This life force is a pulsating, moving, dynamic power that gives life to all of Earth's creatures. When you once learn how to work with this miracle power, you may motivate and shape your life in any chosen direction and build a destiny that encompasses health, happiness, and success. The art of premonstration. There is a dynamic law in metaphysics which states, that which you wish to achieve you must first mentally conceive. I call this, in our study, the art of premonstration. You may want to achieve the building of $1 million fortune, and you may feel that you cannot be happy until and unless you do attain such a fortune. It is almost impossible for your mind to conceive such a large sum of money unless you use the art of premonstration first. There are 5 separate steps which you must take to invoke the art of premonstration. They are: 1. Picture clearly in your mind the thing you wish to demonstrate or achieve. 2. Make a blueprint of the thing or things you are trying to achieve. That is, review it in all its details in your mind first. Then sit down and write out the plan in detail. 3. Sit quietly in silence and ask the higher mind within the steps you should take to achieve the things you are asking for. 4. Now visualize yourself doing these things as if a mental motion picture were being projected on a giant screen in the outer world. This is premonstration, seeing the thing in your mind before it actually takes place in the outer world. 5. Demonstration follows premonstration. That is, the things you have been mentally projecting are acted out in your life, just as though they had actually occurred. Demonstration is the 5th and final step in premonstration. A true life case history. Let us examine a true life case of the art of premonstration, which occurred to a student of mine who attended my lectures and classes at Carnegie Hall. A lady past 40 years of age was tired of living in a small apartment in the city. Her husband worked in New York and made a good salary. They could not afford to move to a home of their own in the suburbs. They both wanted a home more than anything else in the world. After the lady had come to several of my classes, she learned of the art of premonstration, and she went home and proceeded with confidence to take the 5 steps I have given above for achieving the dream she and her husband had conceived. There did not seem to be any way open for this couple to achieve their dream of owning their own home. They had only a few $1,000s saved up. They had no children, and the lady did not work. How could they possibly achieve the fulfillment of their dream? First, they sat down and discussed the type of home they wanted. Then they cut pictures out of home magazines which pictured the house more clearly. These pictures they put into a large album titled, Our Scrapbook of Destiny. Then, after they had pasted all the pictures in their scrapbook, they sat down and wrote out a full blueprint or plan of how many rooms the house would have, the type of yard, the location they would like, and they both read this description over every day and visualize the house in all its details. The next step, number 3, they both sat in the silence for half an hour each night, asking for guidance as to what they should do to demonstrate the house they desired. Step 4 was spent in discussions and daydreams, in which they visualized themselves entertaining their friends at small dinner parties in their own home, working in the garden, and involved in all the little intimate details that go into actual living in a home. The 5th step was a matter of acting out the life they planned in their own home. They began to feel that they had already found the house, that they had moved into it. They began to mentally furnish the house. They window shopped and picked little items for the various rooms, and acted as though the dream were already a reality. Then began the actual quest for the house. The higher mind within, which they asked for guidance, led them to search the real estate sections of the daily papers. They saw nothing matching their mental dream house. But one day a friend told them of a home in the country that belonged to a recent widow who wanted to sell and go to Europe to live. The couple rushed to New Jersey to see this home. It was the dream house they had pictured in every detail. But the lady wanted $25,000 cash. They had only $3,000 in the bank. In talking to the widow, however, they were so enthusiastic and their dream was projected so vividly that before the interview ended, she offered to let them move into the house without any payment whatsoever, if they would take over the first mortgage and pay her $250 a month. This was the exact amount they paid each month for rent, and so they accepted the deal. An extra little dividend was added to the purchase of the house. The widow let them have her furnishings for $2,000 cash. They were easily worth $10,000. Dreams precede actions. In using the art of premonstration, we are using an old law in metaphysics which states, dreams precede actions. God's dream of his creation must have preceded the building of the universe from the tiniest atom to the most intricate constellations. Your mental dream becomes the blueprint which assembles from the unconscious all the elements that go into the fulfillment of your dream. Reality is only an outward manifestation of the inner dream. Einstein proved in his theory of relativity that mental energy is convertible into its exact physical equivalent, and that all matter, in turn, is convertible once again into its invisible counterpart. A skyscraper or bridge that appears to be solid reality is only a mass of vibrating atoms, and they are held together by an invisible law called gravity. When these atoms disperse or disintegrate, they go back into the earth and disappear. To assemble any kind of matter, the human mind must have a form or dream upon which to build. This dream can take any form, like the primitive idea man had when he saw a stone rolling down a hillside and dreamed of a wheel attached to a cart. Scientists call the wheel the greatest invention of all time, for from it issued the modern automobile, airplane, jet propulsion, and even our space age. After the dream, it was relatively simple for man to perfect a functional wheel that could propel man from place to place and free him from being a beast of burden. Since time immemorial, man has dreamed of being able to fly like a bird. The dream crystallized into solid reality when the great artist Leonardo da Vinci wrote on his design of the world's first airplane, "Man shall grow wings." His airplane could only glide, since the motor had not yet been invented, but a self-propelled airplane was already on the way to being a reality, with that first sketch and building of a flying machine. The Wright brothers carried the dream a step further toward reality, after another man had dreamed a motor into existence. The entire universe is built on a dream. To create the world of your choice, learn how to daydream constructively. The steps which you have just studied on the art of premonstration show you how to carry that initial daydream from its first inception of the idea to the complete fulfillment or demonstration, which we call reality. How great men in history have used this power. Great men in history have used this metaphysical power. They looked about them, at the world in which they lived, and saw the many imperfections, the evils, the poverty, the wars and disasters that periodically plagued humanity. And they asked themselves the question, how can I make this a better world? From this initial premise or dream, these great men were guided by their higher minds to discoveries, inventions, and methods by which they changed the destinies of all men and created the reality of a better world for us to live in. As you look about you at the world of reality, you must recognize the fact that we still have a long way to go before we come into the utopia of which man dreams. See the reality, but do not let it blind you to the higher dream towards which all men are striving. The world today needs to learn how to use this metaphysical miracle power more than at any other time in history. Over 25 million people in our country are handicapped in some way, blind, crippled, and sick. In 5,000 years of so-called civilization, man has only known peace for something like 100 years. The rest of that time he has been at war somewhere on the face of the earth. We have social maladjustment, juvenile delinquency, dope addiction, and criminality on a large scale. There are over 8 million alcoholics. Many people still live in slum conditions in this, the richest nation in the world. Millions of people still live on a starvation diet in this world that could produce plenty for all. Never have we known an age in which humanity suffered greater agony of mind and spirit. Humanity needs to use a greater force than book knowledge alone to help man achieve the dream of peace, prosperity, and happiness for which he so desperately searches. See what miracles these great men of history produced when they once learned how to unlock the metaphysical power of their higher minds. Columbus used this power when he searched within for guidance to new lands. This power of the higher mind told him that the world was round, not flat, as everyone believed in that age, and his dreams of discovering a new world were fulfilled. Burbank perfected new products by using this higher mind within. He was able to change growing things and create new species because he tapped this metaphysical miracle power. Michelangelo, the great artist and sculptor, turned to this metaphysical miracle power for gigantic new concepts in art that caused him to create the most perfect statues in marble that man has ever produced. His energy and creative power blossomed even when he was in his 70s and was called back out of retirement by the Pope to do his murals in the Sistine Chapel, which have been called some of the greatest art ever created by man. Pasteur, Edison, Franklin, Einstein, Florence Nightingale, Joan of Arc, Newton, Plato, and Marco Polo, all these great men and women of history had divine guidance in the discoveries, inventions, and creative genius they manifested. Alone, they could never have produced such greatness had they not turned to this miracle power within which we are studying together. They became geniuses and developed almost superhuman power of mind and spirit. What hast thou in thine house? Start today to work your little everyday miracles. Do not wait for a better or more auspicious time. The moment you study this method, you can begin to perform the miracles in your life that you desire and which will give you and your loved ones a better life. The Bible says, "What hast thou in thine house?" One man changed the entire destiny of the South using this metaphysical principle. I visited Tuskegee Institute in Alabama when the great scientist and educator, George Washington Carver, was its leader. He showed me through his laboratory where I saw dozens of products he had created from the lowly peanut, which revolutionized the industry of the South. There were plastics, wallboard, insulating materials, asbestos, varnishes, paints, fodder for cattle, and all kinds of other products made from the peanut. Dr. Carver looked within his own mind for the miracle-working power that could lead him to perfecting and creating all these new products. He did not go to New York City or some other center and search for wealth and power. He busied himself using the materials at hand, and the divine mind within guided him unerringly in taking the right steps for achieving a great destiny and benefiting the world. Look around you today, in whatever environment you exist, and see what you can do to improve your life or change the conditions around you. The miracle power begins to work for you the moment you realize that it is a living, dynamic intelligence which exists within your own mind. The miracle-working Father within. The great master metaphysician Jesus spoke of a Father within who doeth the work, in referring to his amazing miracles. For centuries, people have been puzzled as to his exact meaning. Now, in our scientific age, we know that every person possesses this miracle-working Father within. It is the higher mind, the spiritual intelligence that works in all of nature. It is the power that gave you life, the divine mind that causes you to breathe, that keeps your blood flowing through your veins and arteries, It is the intelligence in your cells that builds and repairs the body, which heals the sick, which creates the child in its mother's womb in 9 months' time. Like all great forces in the universe, this Father within is invisible, but it is as real and more powerful than the physical and material universe which it controls. This divine mind, which some call God, is in the fourth dimensional world where the miracle-working power resides. You can tap this divine mind which works miracles through a simple daily regime, which we shall now study together. It can be invoked this very moment through the power of faith to do your bidding. Like the Aladdin's lamp of the fairy tale, there is also a magic genie within your consciousness, which you can summon to assist you in carrying out the daily miracles of living. Let us see below how you invoke this magic genie of your higher mind for performing daily miracles. The miracle working regime. 1. First, believe in this miracle working power. Have faith that this miracle power of your higher mind can do for you what it has done for the great ones of the past. Daily invoke this higher power by opening your day with a short prayer, something like this. Father within, I now humbly ask that you take over my affairs for this day. Guide me to say and do the right things all day. I have faith in the Father within, and now place myself in the divine center of all good and constructive action, knowing that only that which is good can come to me. I am now the center of divine action, and everything I do will be prompted by the higher divine mind within me. 2. Look about you each day and be aware of the miracles that this Father within has created, and which are already at work for you without any conscious effort on your part. The life force flows within you, giving you health and energy to carry out your day's activities. The miracle power in the soil has grown the food you are to eat this day. Coffee will come from Brazil. Sugar from beets or sugar cane is already in existence. Eggs are being created on some farm from chickens that already exist. Beef is being nourished somewhere for your table tonight. Rubber is being grown or manufactured artificially for the tires of your car. Steel, iron, and coal have been built into the earth for your use in machinery, radio, TV, motion pictures. All exist because this miracle power put the elements into creation long before you were born. The oil which runs your car, which gives you heat in winter and cold air in summer, was starting to be created 1 billion years ago. The wool for making your clothing exists somewhere already on a distant flock of sheep. The cotton for shirts, dresses, and other items is now growing on some far-off plantation. Be aware of this miracle-working power of divine mind that is at work in the universe and is even now working for your own good. 3. Sit down for at least half an hour daily and concentrate on the power of this higher divine mind within you. Ask this power to give you perfect health. If you are sick and wish it to heal, you have faith in this power. Know that the miracles of healing are daily taking place in millions of human bodies, and the same power can work for you. When you cut your hand, what force within your body heals it? This force weaves new skin, sends the phagocytes to the wound to kill the invading bacteria, and creates new cells to take place of old ones. When a bone is broken, this same miracle-working power within rushes supplies of calcium and other elements to the fracture, rebuilding the bone and even making it stronger at the juncture where it was broken. 4. When you go to bed at night, the last thing you should do is spend a few moments instructing this divine mind within what miracles you wish it to perform for you during the time you are asleep, or the next day when you are awake. You may make up your own suggestions to the divine metaphysical mind, or you might use a statement for general well-being, such as this. Father within, I now go to sleep, confident that you will heal and repair my body perfectly while I sleep. I ask for divine guidance in all my activities tomorrow and in the days to come. I especially desire peace of mind and harmony in my home and work. I ask for new ideas to improve my finances and to bring me security for the future. I ask for the miracle of divine love to flower in my life and to bless all those within the center of my activities. I now go to sleep confident that I shall awaken on the morrow refreshed, healed, revitalized, and rejuvenated mentally and physically. 5. To concentrate the power of this higher divine mind within, sit down each day and make out a list of the positive and constructive things you want to happen to you. This list should include your working conditions, your home, your social life, your gifts and talents, your finances, and your state of health. Do not be afraid to ask the indwelling Father for anything you desire, for remember, He created the universe and all therein for you to use and enjoy. Your list might look like this. A. I desire a change in my work. Guide me to the finding of a new job doing. State the type of work you wish. B. I wish to make an extra $1,000 so I may buy the things I wish: a new TV set, a car, an air conditioner. Specify the things you desire and visualize them clearly. C. I wish to have romantic fulfillment and to find a mate who embodies these qualities. List the kind of mate you would like to marry, giving the traits, appearance, etc. D. I would like to travel. Guide me to the means for taking trips to. List the countries you wish to visit. One lady in our lecture group listed travel on her miracle guidance chart, and she soon found work on an ocean liner as a manicurist. She met a wealthy widower on this cruise, fell in love with him, and married him when the cruise ended. She achieved another objective which she had on her guidance chart: the finding of a suitable mate and financial independence. You never know from what channel your good will come to you. When you once release the tremendous power of your higher divine mind, you will begin to see miracles occurring on all sides of you. Things will happen that you never consciously realized were possible before. Have faith in this power and never doubt its spiritual reality, for the very fact that you exist is living proof of a miracle-working power in the universe that is greater than any other force in existence. Chapter 2. How to work miracles through metaphysical commands. We have learned that the miracle power is within you, and that it can work for you when you use a certain regime, which we studied in Chapter 1. Now let us learn how to work miracles through creative metaphysical commands that we shall give to the indwelling Father who performs the miracles we desire. The cells of your brain and body are like tiny batteries. They possess atomic and electrical charges that are diffused throughout your entire body. Science now has discovered that when we are sick, the brain and body cells have in some way become short-circuited, and their charges of electricity, magnetism, and life force are depleted. The miracle-working power of the divine mind within is what normally keeps the brain and body healthy. It is prejudiced in favor of health, not sickness; life, not death; success, not poverty; happiness, not misery; peace, not conflict; love, not hate. When you wish to work miracles of health or success or love happiness, you must learn to go to the very foundation of your life and work with the divine intelligence that has been implanted within your mind and body. To focus this creative miracle power, you must stir the positive, healing emotions into vibrant action with creative metaphysical commands. Let there be light. The first dynamic creative command in the Bible is, "Let there be light." Under the impetus of this forceful statement, the invisible atoms and molecules of unlimited space were set into motion, and all creation began. Light is synonymous with spirit or intelligence. Darkness represents ignorance and the forces of evil. So too, there are two opposite polarities in all of life. One represents the force of good or God, the other the force of evil, or, as religionists call it, the devil. Just as God used this dynamic command, "Let there be light," to start all creation, so too, you can summon up all the creative powers of your brain and body by using a similar creative command to invoke the miracle-working power that can change your life from a negative, fear-filled, and unhappy one to one of health, happiness, and fulfillment. Just as we have light and darkness, so too we have opposing states of consciousness, which constantly struggle for supremacy. These two states of consciousness can be created through the words you think and speak. These words set up little electrical and magnetic charges within the brain, and then communicate themselves to the nerves and muscles of the body, setting into motion the conditions embodied in the words. The master metaphysician Jesus said, "If ye abide in me and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you." John 15:7. What does this mean? It means that the creative intelligence of the divine mind within is unlocked through the use of words or creative commands. Positive words, thoughts, and emotions will release positive creative power within your body, whereas negative thoughts, words, and emotions will release destructive power within your body. Many modern doctors will not allow certain words to be used in the presence of their patients because they know that negative words can be harmful to the patient and decrease the healing power within the body. Focalize your creative miracle power.